Hey y'all, Grown Black Folks Talk back out on the climb, now on YouTube, TikTok, and I'm returning to Facebook with Grown Black Folks Talk. Started there, and I'm returning because I think it's important for me to have this on all my major platforms, except for Instagram, because I'm doing a very particular thing with that. Alright, so let's do the easy stuff first, alright? Donald John Trump, no matter what we think about him, is a human being. And for any human being to attempt to take the life of another human being whose life he did not give to that person, who has no ability to put the breath in anyone's nostrils, is a sin and shame. So for that reason, no matter my personal opinion about Mr. Trump, I also have to condemn the assassination and the attempt at assassination on him, and note, because I'll come back to it later, that universal law caught up with the man who made the attempt just that quick. Just that quick. That's number one. Second, because he is getting lost in the shuffle, Comperatore was one of the men killed, the one whose name I know, and he laid down his life for his family. Condolences to his wife and his children. He was only 50. And I will say a little bit extra about that. His wife has just let it be known. Joe Biden has called her President of the United States. And she said, I didn't talk to him because I know my late husband would not have wanted me to. However, Mr. Trump has not even mentioned my husband's name, nor has he reached out to me. So she split the difference. That is a woman of considerable character. We may not necessarily agree with her decision, but then again, Mr. Comperatore was a Trump-supporting conservative who actually played out the string. As a Christian, I do know that it says, wives, submit to your husbands and everything, and she even chose to submit to him afterwards and not take the president's call. But he did lay down his life like Christ did for the church. And Corey Comperatore, if he's a Christian, will not rise again until the resurrection day. I understand that level of respect. One of the reasons that I am single is because my father and my grandfathers have set such a standard that they're just individuals who have become commonplace in the United States of America, that long after he is dead, I still will not even entertain them. Long after Dad has passed away. Makes no difference. I understand Mrs. Comperatore. I don't have to agree with her, but I respect that. Mr. Comperatore did the darn thing. For real. My condolences to his family. Third, let me go back to universal law. Mr. Comperatore is getting the respect that he showed back. His legacy is being honored because he built a heck of a legacy. It's a long record. And so his wife is showing him respect and will do this for the rest of her life, most likely. Universal law. Most of you know the passage that says, judge not lest ye be judged, Matthew 7:1. Most of you don't know that the next verse speaks of whatever measure, it may not be the exact next verse, but I know it's in Matthew 7 that whatever you measure will be measured back to you. Mr. Comperatore took his vow so seriously that he did what he was supposed to do. And the measure his wife is measuring back is denying herself the conversation with the President of the United States just because she knows her husband did not support that man, did not want to think anything of him. And that is the measure he's getting back. Because he sacrificed, she's respecting him. The measure you measure gets measured back. This is also why we have to take the human rights position because of universal law. See, I'll give you another example. Mr. Joe Biden, 30 years ago, when he was a senator, stood on the Senate floor and talked about how he knew the crime bill that he was putting together that judged crack cocaine for far higher penalties than the same amount of cocaine in powder. But he said, as part of his remarks, that this is going to keep their sons from taking on our sons. Because at that time, Hillary Clinton was out calling black young people super predators. Donald Trump, close to the same time, was writing letters in order to get the now exonerated 5 convicted. And so that whole generation got tagged. I'm part of that generation, a younger sibling of it. But Joe Biden is now president and had to tie his own hands as his son became a convicted felon, stripped of his civil rights, and it's come down to the status of the men that Joe Biden did not want taking on his precious son. Universal law does not care where you live. Donald Trump had the temerity to say several years ago that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and still be supported. Well, I like to think that after Saturday's experience, I'd like to think he'll learn that maybe that isn't as casual a thing as he thought it was. See, because universal law doesn't care where you live, which is why you have to be careful. The measure that you measure will be measured back to you. For black women and girls, understand there are all kinds of people who are making an exception for you. The femicide rates are going up. You're a human being, yet people do not respect your human rights. Therefore, it does not behoove us to be out here being indifferent to the human rights of anybody. Universal law doesn't care where you live. And I know everybody listening to me is not going to agree with that. And I'm not saying that we have to be happy-clappy about anything. But see, that also goes with my fourth point. Have you noticed that Donald Trump did not miss a step because he recognizes he's the star of his own show? And that gets to why I've taken my time responding to this. Joe Biden is now, the president now has a case of COVID. It seems like it's a mild case. He'll take a few days off, get some rest, recover, and get back on the campaign trail. He's not going to miss a step either. Both of them are going to use all events available to do their very best to capitalize from everything that happens. And neither of them knows we're alive. So I delayed responding to all this because I'm not going to let either of those two men upstage me in my own life. I wanted to come to a calm and peaceful place to address this. I also had things to do earlier in the week that I needed to use my voice for that actually affect my life, that neither Mr. Trump nor President Biden are helping me with or can stop. And if you take nothing else from this video, because I'm going from a different direction, once you understand that these men are not the stars and the controllers of your life, see, there are men you can choose to respect. Mrs. Comperatore, the widow of Corey Comperatore, is choosing to respect him, but that man proved himself. She's alive because he proved himself. Donald Trump and Joe Biden have proved themselves too. They are not here to help black people. Period. So then why are we going to get caught up, take positions, not take positions, and not take care of our own life? Everything doesn't have to be reacted to immediately. Now, granted, it would have been a little bit different if somehow Mr. Trump had been more severely injured. But then again, I still got stuff to get done. So, no, we choose how much we allow anyone else to dominate our thoughts. What I took from the last weekend is that I need to purify my life and social media a little more. I refuse to be dominated. One of them is not even in office. We already lived through that. So that's my thoughts, my response, why it took so long to respond. And at this point, I'm going to go on with the rest of my day. I have some other videos I will make for you. There's a lot going on beside Mr. Trump and President Biden. But we'll start here. My response and why I took my time making it and chose exactly how I wanted to do it and made sense for me. Because I am. My God is my director, but he did not put anyone else in the leading role of DeAndy Matthews' life. I am not parsing that out to anyone else. And I want you to have the same understanding about yourself and your life. And learn that Mr. Trump and President Biden are not missing any steps because of what we're doing. Therefore, we ought to return the same amount of informed but serious-minded control of how much attention we give them. All right, y'all have a good day now. Bye.